Well, hello everybody, welcome back. This is just a bit of a impromptu video, really. Um, we've just come back from some time away, and things have gone a lot better than I expected. Wasn't a long time, but believe me, 5 days when you are traveling with 3 young girls aged between 4 and 14, 5 days is plenty. So they got fed the day we left, and they've had a very small feeding today, just now, about an hour ago, because we haven't been back long. And the idea of the small feeding is there hasn't been the same amount of bioload presented to the bacteria in the tank, so we've got to increase food back to what they would normally get daily gradually. Why I'm happy though is every breeder knows that your most precious and fragile fish will breed in the week up to leading when you're going away. Every time. Now, we had the Sterosoma Oriens. They hatched, they were 48 hours old when it went away. And although the orange Venezuelan cories are not massively fragile, they're one of the best spawn numbers that I've had for a very, very long time. I swear every female was spawning on the same day and I was here. What difference does that make? Well, if you catch the cory eggs when they're sort of under an hour old after being laid, you remove them and you can really hear them to, say, like the surface of one of your breeder boxes and on the side. It's not imperative, it's not vital, but I have always found getting them on the side yields a better hatch rate. Less fungus, less stuff just, sort of sticks when they're not on the bottom, stuck in all the muck that's coming through. And yes, you should keep it as clean as you can, but these breeder boxes are not always the easiest thing to keep clean. Well, we had 200 hatch. So now I'm thinking, even though they're a week old, I normally wouldn't want to let them out free roaming until probably 2.5, 3 weeks, depending on how well they've grown. How do I get those through this? A lot of breeders will say that just don't bother pulling the eggs within, a fortnight of going away. Well, that's not really what I'm in for. I'm being such a big hatch, I was keen to at least save a few. So just before we went away, did a big water change on this little tank. It's right about 10 gallon. It's a 12 by 15 by 15. It's an odd size, custom made. These 4 were custom made. And I've decided to put an auto feeder on there. And we were feeding them Sarah Micron. Okay. And if you just have a look at the drum. So we've done the whole tape over the gap drum, right? Pretty standard stuff. It just limits how much stuff comes out of that little trapdoor even more than the smallest setting. So it's on the smallest setting, then 50% covered with the tape. That seems to work very well. No noticeable deaths. There's a bit of growth. They might be hungry, because the last thing I wanted to do was overfeed. As nasty as it sounds, I would rather have lost 50% to starvation than 100% to water poisoning. And surely you can understand the logic there. It doesn't look like we've lost any though. The only other inhabitants in there are, I think, Pseudomogol luminatus were moved in there just before we went away. And they're about 3 weeks old, but because they're Pseudomogols, they're tiny, so they pose no threat to 1 week old cory fry. Now, over here, Sterosoma Oriens, which were 48 hours old, hatched before we left. So they weren't even actually feeding yet. What was the plan for those? Do I put them in with the cories? I didn't fancy it. Because if you've seen the video where we breed them or have bred them yourself, you'll generally know that they are too stupid to eat. They need a lot of feeding and they need a lot of water changes. So we decided to keep them in this, which is 170 litres, just mainly to keep the water going through. That tank will easily look after that amount of bioload, since the rest of the fish are not going to be fed at all, okay? So I had to invest in another little auto feeder. Now these auto feeders are brilliant. They are the ones I like. I'm saying that, I've not tested loads over the years, because it's not really my thing, auto feeding. Feeding fish is kind of one of the things that you actually get to do with fish when you can't play fetch with them. But these, now this one, oh, it is the same. Okay, so now these, that one is the old one. This one I bought in haste, I think £25 on Amazon. Why do I like this one? It's actually Pet Bank. I didn't realise that one was as well, but it is. These, you can set up to 4 times for a 24-hour day for it to cycle. You can also set 1 to 3 cycles. It's USB-C, it's easily programmable with the function buttons here, and you can set it to a manual spin so that it can go whenever you like. But what really sold me on this one is obviously about 2 years newer than that one. And what they've actually done is they've changed the trapdoor to the barrel. All right, so I've still got the tape over it, just belt and braces to make sure, because this actually only turned up on the same day that we were leaving. But without getting Sarah Micron everywhere, which that's a fail, try and show you this one, because they've updated the barrel. Now you still get the old trapdoor, which is this, as you do with that one, but with this one, we've still got the tape on. They've actually, I don't know if you can see that, incorporated this piece. So as you close it, it has even more of an effect. So that might have actually been enough, but I went for the tape anyway because I didn't have time to test it, trial it. So we still went for the tape. I'll put this back in the same place. However, I was not expecting to come back and find many, if any, Sturasoma aureums alive, because they are just in a Lowell's breeding box. I thought that was the best way to go. Oh my god, sit right. Purely because I have had them in this tank before with their parents, just to see how it would work out, you know. And yeah, it didn't work well. Didn't get many survive, and I think that is just a thing of finding food, because it's a large tank for a very, very small fry to find food in. Now, the options with these breeding boxes, the way I saw it is I was feeding powderized food. I was feeding it 4 times a day in quite a small amount, but that's a very small volume. The only way that they flow out is through the back here, and these sponges that you get with them are very, very fine. And what I could have done is put a lower PPI sponge in there, sort of like a 15, something like that. That would have let the food flow out better and less chance of clogging, because you've got to remember I'm feeding a lot and it's got to go through that little sponge. In the end, I decided to keep it this, well, it's about 40 PPI sponge. And when I come back, it was clogged, fully clogged. It was overflowing through these overflow ports. It's designed to do that, and that we may well have a few strays in here, but we still have 37 in there alive and kicking. So I am absolutely over the moon at that. It seems that we have only had one death, which was one of my favorite, is the Corridor Similis, and it was ill. Tank was treated with Isha 2000, but I think whatever it's suffering from is too far gone. So that one died. But that is the only loss we've had. Obviously nothing but the fry have been fed. We did have somebody come in halfway through and check, just make sure nothing had exploded. So yes, very, very happy. Very happy. That's probably not the best way to do things. Breeders will normally tell you don't pull any eggs, don't try and breed anything for 2 weeks before. However, reasonable steps, reasonable water volumes, decent amount of food, seems to have worked very well. Now, if you've gone away for 2 weeks, just don't do anything. But this is very much a do as I say, don't do as I do, because when you are prepping to go away for holiday, things you shouldn't do: filter maintenance. Don't do that. If you cock it up, you do something wrong, or maybe part of the filtration breaks and you can't reassemble it properly, what are you going to do? Give yourself at least a week. Don't, if you're going away on your normal maintenance day, don't do anything. Just leave it as it is. Well, I did all my maintenance the day before we went away. Also, that's another thing, big water changes. If you're using tap water, which I wasn't, I was using RO and remineralizing. If you're using tap water, don't do it. Don't do the maintenance a few days before, because it will just be that day that your water facility decided to flush with 10x the chlorine, or maybe they've thrown a bunch of aluminium in there. It will be that day. Worked out fine for me because my water source is controlled. It's reverse osmosis water. Shouldn't have any issues. Shouldn't, not guaranteed you won't, but we didn't, obviously. So great. The lastly, things you do not do is when you finish your holiday, on the way back, you do not stop off and buy some fish. Now, I'm both glad that I have these and also not glad that I have these. I stopped off in a shop in Bristol to get one that I saw advertised on their Facebook page. These have been pretty elusive to find, and I've been looking for them for a while. They are known as scarlet endlers, and I saw them on their Facebook. And I wouldn't normally rush out there to go and buy something. However, I happened to be going past in the car, and I've already bought these. I bought them from a company online. It was Aquatropics. Never used them before. I called them up because their website doesn't explain anything about postage, and yet they're an online retailer. And I spoke to a gentleman. He said, whatever you order, we send it out so that it will arrive with you on the following Wednesday. Cool. So I ordered a couple of breeding pairs of these scarlet endlers with some other stuff, dwarf braycocks and ramirezes. No order confirmation email, no nothing. We are now 3 weeks beyond when they should have been delivered, and still not a thing. So now we got to start the chargebacks and that sort of stuff. So yeah, don't recommend that site. But you do you. Maybe you've had a good experience with them. They will never see any of my money again. And although it was Maidenhead Bristol, we went in there, got those. They had some absolute stunning scarlet endlers in this tank, and stupidly I should have paid more attention, but I thought the guy kind of got it. I said that I'm looking, they are beautiful, I'm looking for the reddest of the red. I don't know, he picked me out the least red 6 out of everything in there. Yeah, so not only could we not get a pair, I've only just got males. Of the 6 males, which were not cheap, by the way, even by MA standards, maybe one is going to be good for studying. Luckily, we have virgin endlers up here from the Japanese blues. It may take a while to get some resemblance to set strain of scarlets coming out, because these females could be carrying blue genes. But yeah. If you know anywhere that I can actually get decent scarlet endlers that don't have blue on them, don't have yellow on them, I mean, I'm glad I've got them. But if he just picked me almost any others out of that tank, and I'm just not that kind of person that can go, look, I need that one, I need that. I just thought the guy would have got it, but he didn't. They're kind of washed out in the moment, so they look orange instead of red. But you might be able to see a little bit in there. You can see the quality is not great. There's definitely one that has got the red in the right places on the tail. It's got the black in the right places. But other than that, oh no, there might be 2. Or is that the one with the yellow belly? No, there's one, and it's not even the best that they had in the shop. But hey ho, live and learn. So anyway, the point is, what you do not do is pick up new fish on the way home when you haven't even seen what potentially could be the mayhem waiting for you when you get back here. But that's what I've done, and they're going to be fine. They're going to go in with Pseudomogul flacatus fry that are about 2 months old, so still very, very small, and the Japanese rice fish, and the Wabbon musters, because this is a tank that is already under medication because one of the Wabbon musters was looking a bit funky. So it's kind of a quarantine tank, but not really. And although I don't wish to waste fish lives, if those 6 don't make it, I'm sure I will eventually find decent quality ones, good coloured quality ones, even if I have to go back there and beg to fish them out myself. But we're going to get those in now. Overall though, very happy. We lost 1 Cory similis, gutted. It's fast becoming my favourite. Doing great with orange Venezuelans, and the Sturasoma in there are doing absolutely fantastic. I'm genuinely happy. I know I'll be a bit grumpy, but I'm very tired. And I promised a video on pH is coming out very, very soon. One element of it completely slipped my mind. I thought it was complete, but it's not. And it wasn't until I was away and actually relaxed that it's like, hang on, what if people want to raise their pH? Because I don't do that. So it's just a quick one. I look like hell. So, hey, you don't come here for my boat. I will see you soon. So, give someone a reason to smile. And I'll see you in the next one.